Ms. Shalini Narula, an accomplished middle school coordinator with over 15 years of experience in leading CBSE schools, brings a rich academic portfolio with an MA in English Literature, an MCA, an MEd, and a diploma in Training and Development. An expert in English and Social Studies, she is recognized for her innovative pedagogy and impactful contributions, including presenting papers on mindfulness practices for Generation Alpha and publishing articles in reputed newspapers. Her dedication to holistic education and academic excellence defines her inspiring journey as an educator. Hearty welcome, Ms. Shalini. Please proceed. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, sir. A very good evening to everyone. Greetings from Extra Mile, a premier platform envisioned by the esteemed Dr. Abdul Salam, founder of BTEC, to revolutionize education and training. With its unparalleled pool of resource persons, Extra Mile excels in delivering customized online and on-site training solutions across India. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Abdul Salam and the Extra Mile team for this prestigious opportunity. A warm and enthusiastic welcome to all the participants as we embark on this enriching journey together. Dear educators, every student can learn, just not on the same day or in the same way. Very well said by George Evans. And that is what we are going to discuss today through our topic. Gifted learners often yearn for tasks that stimulate their advanced abilities, yet they may not always receive the challenges they need. Our goal today is to explore effective strategies to engage these students, ensuring they remain motivated and reach their full potential. By the end of this discussion, you'll be equipped with practical tools to create a more dynamic and inclusive learning environment for all our students. Let's embark on this journey together to better support our gifted learners. So let us warmly invite our esteemed trainer for the day to guide us on this journey for ensuring every learner thrives. Let's reshape the future of education together. But before we begin with today's session, there are some points I'd like to quickly brief you about. Any query during the session can be conveyed through the meeting chat box. In order to have an interactive experience, you may clear your doubts by asking questions. Kindly use the virtual hand raise button and wait for your name to be called out for asking your query. I repeat, kindly use the virtual hand raise button and wait for your name to be called out for asking your query. The participants will have the opportunity to receive certificate only after filling up the certificate and feedback form, the link for which will be shared at the end of the session. Kindly stay connected till the end of the session. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Dr. Abdul Salam. Dr. Salam is a distinguished CBSE resource person and master trainer who has made significant contributions to the education sector. Dr. Salam also serves as an assessor for the National Accreditation Board for Education and Training under the Government of India. He is the visionary, founder, and CEO of Extra Mile Education and Training and Bharat Transforms Academic Group. Sir, I invite you to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Shalini. And most respected resource person today, Ritula ma'am, Biju sir, Shalini ma'am, and all the heads and teachers of different schools across India and abroad. Hearty welcome to Extra Mile Education and Training. Well, today the topic, the gifted experience by a gifted resource person. gifted and talented. And equally blessed we are to have Ms. Mritula Mahajan on board Extra Mile Education and Training. After so many months or years, 2 years, more than 2 years, Madam has been busy with a lot of, educational experiments. So today we are very lucky to have Ms. Mridula ma'am on board with us. So thank you so much, Mridula ma'am. Thank you for offering this session, this wonderful topic, which very few, people have dealt with. In fact, we speak about innovations, creativity, and lot in schools. But to happen this, we have to, boost the talents, especially those students who do not, get what is required. Those talented students, born talented and creative students are there. They often do not get the challenge they are craving for. So we have to challenge them. Mridula ma'am is here to tell us how to challenge these students so that we will get the right output and the school will no longer remain ordinary, it's going to be extraordinary. So thank you so much, Mridula ma'am, for this wonderful topic, and all the very best to you and everybody for joining. Let us go together to have innovations and creativity at school level to cater to the needs of each and every student from different learning levels. So thank you so much. Hearty welcome once again. Over to Shalini ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for the kind words, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, amidst us, we also have Mr. Biju S. Pillai. He has vast experience in the field of education in many capacities, including being the principal of many reputed CBSE schools. He is the co-director of Extra Mile Training Sessions. Sir, we are honored to have your gracious presence amidst us. I request Mr. Biju S. Pillai to felicitate the gathering with his kind words.
Thank you, Shalini ma'am. Good evening to all. Respected Director, Dr. Abdul Salam sir, respected resource person today's evening, Dr. Mridula Mahajan ma'am, and all other respected personalities from around the globe. Hearty welcome to Extra Mile platform. So it's a wonderful topic today, holistic development of gifted students. So even NEP, one of the crucial aspects of the NEP is inclusion to holistic and multidisciplinary education. So actually, holistic development is an approach that aims to educate students not just academically but also emotionally, physically, and socially. So how we can implement in the classroom, that we have to go in detail. So we have an highly experienced gifted, as our directors are told, a gifted personality today, who can brief, who can very clearly explain how to implement it in the class, because NEP and many other respected things inculcate the habit. So how we can make it in practice, that for every teacher, it will be a wonderful session. So let us listen and gain more knowledge to bring this holistic educations to the gifted students, so that practically we can implement it in the classrooms. Thank you all. I remain. Thank you, Shalini ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our gifted resource person, Dr. Mridula Mahajan. Dr. Mahajan, an accomplished educator and sports person, currently serves as the principal of Akshara International School, Pune. With an extensive 31-year career in education and 38 years in sports, she has made remarkable contributions in both fields. She previously led Dr. D.Y. Patil Public School as principal for over 18 years, ensuring a 100% success rate in grade 10th board exams. A national level sportsperson and international coach, she has mentored numerous state, national, and international champions. Dr. Mahajan is a CBSE national trainer, a master trainer for the state board, and a distinguished academician with multiple degrees and accolades. Her contributions to education and sports have earned her several prestigious awards, including APJ Abdul Kalam Best Principal Award, Shipra Mandli State Level Award for Contribution to Sports, Best Teacher Award from PCMC, Pimpri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, Mother Teresa Best Principal Award, Extra Mile Educators Award, District Level Best Principal Award, District Level Best Sports Person Award. The only principal in Pune to receive both honors presented by late Shri Girish Baparji. And the list goes on. Her expertise in curriculum development, teacher training, and educational leadership, along with her dedication to sports and holistic student development, makes her an inspiring figure in the academic fraternity. Ma'am, it is truly our privilege to have you with us as a speaker for today's session. On behalf of everyone here, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to you, ma'am, and I would like to request you to take over the evening proceedings from here. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Shalini ma'am. Just give me a minute to start. Is my screen seen? Can you see my slide?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening to one and all, especially Dr. Salam, who is an icon in India and also in the UAE and other parts of the world. Very good evening, respected Biju sir. And I am extremely pleased and proud to have Shalini ma'am, who is from Akshara School itself and one of the senior most and best faculty of Akshara. So let's begin on that note and we go straight ahead. To our next slide. Just give me a minute, please. Yes, so we will begin with the objectives of the session. Let's see what we are going to learn from this session. The next, let's say 60, 70 minutes. Yes. So today what we are going to try to do is, first of all, understand giftedness. And understanding giftedness means recognizing the characteristics. After all, what are the indicators, the traits or the characteristics of gifted students? And this will include intellectual, creative, and socio-emotional traits. We will also try to differentiate between giftedness and other learning or behavioral conditions. Secondly, we will make an attempt to identify gifted students. How do we know that there are gifted students in our classrooms? And how do we identify them? Are there ways and means, and what are they? Once they are identified and they are nurtured, then the next step, how do we actually assess them? Moving further, what should be the teaching strategies, pedagogies, and techniques to train these students? Exploring teaching strategies that support gifted learners, such as differentiated curriculum, accelerated learning, and enrichment activities. Gifted learners also.
Is your camera on?
Just a minute. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So gifted learners also have certain social and emotional needs. We will make an attempt to understand what are these unique needs and how they are also, because of perfectionism, having certain different needs and coping mechanisms that will be required to deal with their relationships. Discussing ways to support these gifted students and their mental and emotional being is also what we will probe into. And lastly, then creating an inclusive classroom. So, why do we say inclusive classroom? Are these children special children? Yes, they are. For which we need collaboration. We need the peers to work. We need the parents. We need the teachers, and we need all the stakeholders. And if at all we are unable to do this, if we are unable to identify the methods, then what will happen is the gifted children will experience boredom, disinterest, and frustration. So, like I said, a collaborative effort will be required to take care of our gifted learners. They are actually today in today's world called as highly abled children or highly abled individuals. We will now try to acquaint ourselves with the different models of gifted education towards the end. While I'm beginning the session, I'm sure that there are a lot of questions in the minds of the audience, like how early are the signs of giftedness seen? Do they need to be treated differently? Who are the people who need to play a role? And is giftedness something that comes genetically or does it come from the environment? So let's now try to find the answers. As Franklin Jones rightly mentioned in his book, we are all together easily deceived by the time worn argument that the gifted student, that is the genius, perhaps will get along somehow without much teaching. But this, my friends, is a myth. The fact is, the gifted and the brilliant are the ones who need the closest attention of the skillful mechanic. And who is the skillful mechanic? Of course, it is you and me, the teachers. We will now see a little about the background and the history of giftedness. So let's look into the early foundations. The idea of giftedness has existed not recently, not for 10, 15 years, but for centuries together. The Enlightenment, spiritual and philosophical discourse from Krishna to Arjun is a classic example of nurturing giftedness. Greek philosophers Plato and Aristotle also recognized the importance of exceptional abilities. But however, the first formal attempt was made in the late 1800s, and it was largely influenced by emerging psychology and educational research. The name that I am going to mention now is actually very special. Sir Francis Galton, an Englishman and a cousin of the great Charles Darwin. In fact, you'll be surprised to know Sir Charles Darwin took a lot of his ideas from the books written by Sir Francis Galton. And Francis Galton researched human intelligence and individual differences, especially based on biology, that is, genetics. And he helped to lay the groundwork for future studies. He also coined a word, eugenics. And in his book, Hereditary Genius, he has mentioned the word genius for the first time. We very casually use this word and we sometimes say this to each other, oh, you are a genius. But genius has a very important connotation in the field of education and intelligence. Let's move ahead to understand what is the meaning of giftedness. In simple terms, gifted individuals are those who are exceptional, who are different, who are having higher ability or better ability as compared to other children or other individuals of the same age. Students who perform or can perform at higher levels compared to others of the same age, experience, and environment. And if you have a question, how many children could be gifted or how many individuals could be gifted, there are two ways to mention this. Of course, there are a lot of controversies and arguments, but the two accepted sentences or words or statistics are 10% people are gifted, which means 100 out of 1,000 or 10 out of 100. So if you have a class of 40, on an average, 4 students could be gifted students. But there is also another way to look at this. Giftedness or intelligence is measured by using certain tests, standardized tests. And when this measurement is done, note this, if the IQ of the individual is lying somewhere around 80, the score is 80, then that is a matter of concern and the child may be below average. But if the score is 100, then that is average intelligence and which is very common. However, if the score is somewhere around 130 and above, then these are the children who are labeled as gifted children. I hope I am very clear about this. So it is either 10%, one way of looking at it as it is 10%, and the second is someone who has 130 or more IQ. And this could go up to 140, 150, 170, and 200. So on what does this depend? I'm not going to get deep into the theory part, but I think we should at least know this much, that there is something called as gray matter and white matter in the brain. The more the gray matter, the more the intelligence. So someone like Einstein could have touched 200 as the IQ level. And beyond 200, it is not even measurable. Now let's see the modern definition. The modern definition is a broader definition. The earlier definition was a narrow definition. So the modern definition says that it is not the ability of a child to only be gifted in terms of intelligence. So it doesn't stick to one domain, that is the cognitive domain. Rather, it says that the ability to process and learn information quickly, to see connections, to maintain and develop relationships, and other multiple perspectives also would be counted as a part of giftedness. So the ability to understand abstract and complex concepts is very important, and we will see more with examples in the coming slides. Giftedness refers to exceptional. Now, this is the most simple. Let's come to a conclusion. Giftedness refers to exceptional ability. This is a keyword, exceptional ability or potential in one or more areas. So it could be one particular area, it could be more than one areas, such as, now which are the areas? It could either be intellectual or it may not be intellectual to that extent, but it could be creative or artistic, which includes music and dance, or it could even be the kinesthetic domain, that is the athletic domain. But not to forget that these are integrated. Let's try to find out how did the educationist and the psychologist measure intelligence. So again, we have the name of Francis Galton. In the early 20th century, intelligence testing became a central tool in identifying giftedness. Galton was a British scientist and is considered one of the pioneers of intelligence testing. He believed that intelligence was inherited. I already told you that he is the cousin of Charles Darwin, and he believed that it is in the genes. So Galton had the belief that a person is born with a certain ability, born with a certain potential. What can happen is, because of the environment, because of the training, because of other circumstances, the person can become talented. However, he said the intelligence will remain the same. He believed that intelligence was inherited and worked on the development of tests to measure it. The next important and a very popular name, Alfred Binet, a Frenchman. In French education, if an 8-year-old child could not do what a 5-year-old child could do, he would not profit. So what does this mean? In France, the year of admission in a school is 6. At 6, a child is admitted to school, and by year 8, they test the child for certain abilities and certain competencies. These include the emotional competencies, the cognitive competencies, the social competencies, and also other skills. Now, if they find that this child doesn't have the competency as much as a 5-year-old, then the child is sent back for preparation, and the preparation, like just like we have the bridge course. So the bridge course is a brief term. It happens for a brief period, but here the preparation happens for 1 year. Now, why is this so important? I'm taking time to explain because Alfred Binet wondered, if a child is not up to the mark, has not achieved the minimum level of learning, you send him back. But the other way around, if an 8-year-old child could do something like a 14-year-old or a 13-year-old or a 15-year-old, then what? What should be done with this child? Because this child also is different. He also will need something different. And this is how the first thought began. And psychologist Alfred Binet developed the first intelligence test, which was later adapted to help identify students with advanced cognitive abilities. Moving ahead, Lewis Terman, again another psychologist at the Stanford University, adapted and took up Binet's test for use in the US. Now, because Lewis was working for the Stanford University, but he adapted Binet's test, this test is called as the Stanford-Binet Intelligence Test, and this became a very widely used test to assess giftedness through IQ testing. Next, another most popular psychologist, a Romanian American psychologist, developed the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale. It measures cognitive ability in adults and older adolescents. Wechsler Intelligence Scale for children. So these are the two ways, the two tests which are standardized, and these have come from David Wechsler, one for adults and older adolescents, and the second one for children of younger age. These are standardized tests which measure both verbal and performance abilities, and these tests are widely used even today in most countries of the world and India as well. We come to the next next subtopic, identifying gifted children. Now, what we saw so far were formal tests, were standardized structured tests. But there are other ways as well which are used to identify gifted children. And one of the most important one being nomination form or referral form. Now, this form is also called as gifted referral form, talent identification form, gifted nomination form, or screening form for the gifted identification. Now, who will fill up this form? Teachers, parents, child himself, as well as peers can fill up the form. Now, what is typically there in this form? The form consists of abilities, achievements, and behaviors of the child. It is very much like the portfolio, but this has to happen in a structured way and an unbiased way, and there should be evidence. Example, what can go in the form, in this nomination form? The academic performance of a child, the creative abilities of a child, problem solving skills, leadership qualities, motivation and interest in learning. So far, we saw what happened in the 18th and the 19th century. We will now move to the recent era, that is the 20th century. Modern developments in the late 20th century till present. Today, there are new types of tests, there is new technology. So the neuropsychological tests, which are more specific assessments of cognitive abilities. So this will pinpoint particular ability because these are computerized tests. Like I said, the computerized tests are more specific, more particular, more diagnostic, and this will help us to understand the child better and to cater to the child's needs. These are more accurate tests. So, like I mentioned, these are the key players. We move ahead to the next slide. Creativity and talent development. During the 1950s to 1970s, researchers like Julian Stanley and others began exploring not just intellectual giftedness. So until this time, whenever the word giftedness was uttered, people thought about the intelligence quotient or the IQ. They always thought about the cognitive area. But however, the thoughts were more elaborate with time. And this was a step beyond intellectual giftedness. The idea that giftedness can manifest in areas like arts, music, or leadership gained more recognition during this time. And I'm sure all the attendees know this name, Howard Gardner. So Howard Gardner is the psychologist, is the educationist from America, who in his very famous book, Frames of Mind in 1983, if you remember, how many intelligences are there? When the book was written, there were 7 intelligences. And later on, he added one more. The last one to be added was naturalist. And today, the 9th one also is almost added over there, and that is existentialism. But why are we discussing Howard Gardner? Like I told you, towards the end of this century, new thoughts came up, new ideas were introduced, and it was a now accepted notion that giftedness cannot be a narrow terminology. It must accommodate other kinds of intelligences and skills and competencies as well. So the theory broadened the scope, and now you can see the types of intelligences. This had a profound impact on education, and we could understand human beings better. So today, giftedness could be multifaceted. It may involve not only exceptional intellectual abilities, but also other domains, other activities, and other interests. This is one terminology which I want everybody to understand, and maybe you can find time later to get deeper into it. But I thought it is essential to mention it here. Asynchronous development. What is the meaning of asynchronous development? Gifted children may develop at different rates in cognitive, emotional, and social domains, leading to unique educational and social challenges. The meaning is not all the areas and domains will develop at the same pace. It is quite likely that a child grows emotionally at a very fast pace, not that quickly in the social domain. Or a child is extraordinarily gifted in the cognitive ability, but not so much in the emotional domain. And we have ample examples to prove this. So there are children, let's take an example. For example, you have a topper in the school, a child who is extraordinarily intelligent, has always been scoring good marks, has been performing very well in examinations, in academics, 90%, 94%, 95%. And let's say the child has a pet at home and the pet passes away. And the child is so disturbed, so taken aback, so aghast that he says, I will not appear for the exams anymore. So, what we see is the emotional side. If the child is able to gather himself and come back, then yes, the EQ also has grown simultaneously, but at a slower pace. And there are instances where children have missed their exams due to certain emotional disturbances. So, I'm not wasting time in this, but this is something very interesting and very essential. Uh, for example, another example of a little child. We see children who, or you and me also, when we are doing typing, our brain may think faster, but our fingers, our motor skills are not that developed. And that is why we have the typing mistakes. Moving ahead to the socio-emotional needs, gifted individuals also experience heightened sensitivities. Their sensitivities are very high. They are usually perfectionists. And that is the reason they struggle with peer relationships and they require special attention and support. Now, there are some talent development models which we will look into in the future course of action. The one thing I appreciate about Dr. Salam is he is very aware of what is going on in the field of education. And we all know that the NEP 2020 and NCF have changed education and revolutionized education entirely. All these books, the NCF FS, NCF SE, NEP, and also Parak, Safal, all these have a common aim. And what is the common aim? To identify specially abled children. Let's see how and where is this mentioned. So chapter 4 of NEP talks about curriculum and pedagogy in schools. It is said learning should be holistic, integrated, enjoyable, and engaging. And further, it states that there should be support for gifted students and students with special talents. Section 4.43 very clearly mentions that every child may have some innate talents and we must give him the platform and help him to foster and nurture this talent. Now, these talents may express themselves in the form of varying interests, dispositions, and capacities. Those students who show particularly strong interest in a given realm must be encouraged to pursue that. What does this mean? There may be a child who has an interest other than regular academics. So today we are talking about silos. And at this point of time, I want to give the example of Toto Chan. I'm sure almost all of you, or maybe all of you, have read or heard about this book, Toto Chan. The Little Girl at the Window. This is an autobiography of this little girl, Toto Chan, whose name is Tetsuko Kurionagi. And she's a successful radio jockey. But what happened in her childhood, during the Second World War, is she studied in a traditional school, okay, a contemporary school, and she was very distracted when she would hear birds chirp outside or when she would see the swaying leaves, and she couldn't concentrate in the class. And this happened very frequently because she was a different child. And the teacher didn't like this. And the teacher called the mother of this child and asked her to leave the school. And Toto Chan had to move out to another school where, of course, she was fortunate to receive the kind of support that she wanted. But why am I narrating this? The idea is that there will be different children in our class. Every child will be unique. Every child will want to pursue a different realm or a domain. What does the teacher say? My objective is to have each student become more insightful, compassionate, introspective, and empathetic. In your case, I will settle for quiet. So, do you agree? I leave it to you. The teacher says that she has an objective, but whether the objective is met or no. Because if the child is going to be asked to sit quietly, just like Toto Chan, we know that the abilities of the child will be shunned. Section 4.43. Again, it talks about including methods to foster talents. NCRT and NCT have developed guidelines. And mind you, the B.Ed programs are also going to be revised so that specialization in the education of gifted children is included in the syllabus. Section 4.44. Teachers will aim to encourage students with singular interest. What is the meaning of singular interest? You may have a child in the class just like Sachin Tendulkar, whose only interest is playing cricket. You may have a child in the class like late Lata Mangeshkar ji, whose only interest is vocal music. So these are singular interests. But it is the duty of teachers to give them ample opportunity and supplementary enrichment so that they are encouraged. Topic-centered, project-based clubs and circles will be encouraged. Very recently, we have all received the circular again for hubs of learning. You all know this. And this is an extended idea. Science circles, math circles, poetry circles, debate circles. We also know what is MUN. So these kind of circles will be created where schools will come together and children will be given platforms to let their talents surface. Section 4.44 also mentions about, this is important, high quality national residential summer programs for secondary school students. Not stopping at the regular teaching, regular academic time, summer programs also will be developed to encourage their talent. Because in a 35-minute period, after all, it is not easy to let the talent surface. So they will need specialized training and they will need extra clock hours also. So with a rigorous merit-based but equitable admission process to attract the very best students and teachers from across the country, including from socio-economically disadvantaged groups. So there will be rigorous merit process, and not to forget that NEP talks about equity. Section 4.45. Now, what will be the testing method? So it could be Olympiads, it could be competitions in various subjects. These will be conducted across the country, and there will be coordination and children will be picked up from here. Not stopping at this, please realize that this could be a method which will be used for admission to IITs. Section 4.45 very clearly states public and private universities, including premier institutions like the IITs and NITs, would be encouraged to use Merit National Education Policy 2020 based from national and international Olympiads. So the message is very strong, the message is very loud that gifted children, highly able children, and specially talented children are not going to be left out. They are going to get their opportunities provided we nurture them. Section 4.46. Again, there are some more methods, which these are some means and methods that we used as a part of our multiple assessment and subject enrichment tests. So smart class, we all know that this is not possible without technology. So The government is making an effort to ensure that there will be smart classrooms in a phased manner for using digital pedagogy in every corner of India, whether it is urban or rural, and there will be collaborations. So far, we read what is mentioned in NEP. We are now going to see what is there in NCF also. Chapter 4, Inclusion in Schools, Section 4.4. Very important word, inclusion. Inclusion. Key considerations. Contrary to popular belief, students with special talents may need special attention and support with their school learning. Very often, teachers or parents feel that the child is very good. Let's say in a family there are two children, siblings, and one child is doing very well, the other one is just an average. All right, scoring, let's say 65, 70, and the other child scores 85 to 90 or 95. So what do the parents do? The parents always feel that, okay, we don't have to look at this one. We don't have to support this one. He's independent and he's managing it himself. And in the bargain, they take care of the other child. But this is contrary to this. What is essential is attention should be given to the specially talented or more talented child, and he should have more challenging exercises. So we're also talking about equity of education here and the economically disadvantaged and the socially disadvantaged groups. Now, this is a key word. Differences in behavioral traits. These students are often reported to have certain social or emotional traits in common, like we earlier saw, heightened sensitivity, emotional intensity and reactivity, perfectionism, and uneven development. Uneven development is asynchronous development, which I have already explained. So now what is needed? Rethinking of pedagogy, innovative pedagogy, eclectic methods. Why are these required? To support the students, to support the peers and other adults in the school also must be oriented. Now we come to the next part, that is training, that is orientation. So anybody who works for these children need guidance, need training, need orientation, and need understanding so that they can support them in the right way. National Curriculum Framework for School Education Part B very clearly mentions that if we have to support the children, then we need to follow activity-based learning, project-based learning, inclusive and flexible curriculum, integrated approach, stick to the core essentials, and other similar methods. As stated in NEP 2020, a good educational institution is one where every student feels welcomed and cared for. And not stopping at this, the right kind of physical infrastructure, stimulated learning environment, and appropriate resources. Now, let's take a pause. Let me ask you a question. How many of you think you are gifted? Give me a thumbs up. How many of you think yourselves to be gifted? Do you think you are gifted? And how do you decide whether you are gifted or no? Okay. So to know that, you should first be aware of what are the characteristics, what are the traits that are seen in gifted students. Let's go to the next slide. This one is very interesting. These are some of the traits. Now, this is not an exhaustive list, which are seen in highly abled individuals. And when do you see this? You can see them right from birth. Right from birth. So who will be the first person to notice giftedness? Who will be the first people to notice highly able children? Yes, parents. Now, what is so different about them? What are the traits? Number one, questioning. So these are the children who love asking questions. But very often, what do teachers do in the class? They will not allow the same child to ask too many questions. They will not entertain questions for a long time, which is absolutely incorrect. So questioning is actually a trait of highly abled individuals. These children experience life with great intensity. Their relations are very special. They get close to people, they get close to animals, they get close to nature, they connect well to environment. So they live with great intensity and they have a passion for justice. So you'll find them saying, this is not fair. Why did they do this? Why did they cut the tree? Why did they harm the environment? So this is another sign. Generate generative concepts earlier than their peers. So, and they have superb memories. So this birthday you tell the child of 3-year-old, 4-year-old, next birthday I'll give you this, and next birthday the child will not forget. He will ask you, you promised me last year, where is that? So they have superb memories as well, and generative concepts earlier. That means they learn the concepts much earlier than the other children of their age. Now, these are also people and children who love to learn. So they are always having thirst for more knowledge, thirst for new information, whether they are 5-year-old or 95-year-old. The next important trait, profound questioning. Now, we've already seen questioning, but it's not about just the regular questions. Highly able individuals will have unusual questions, will ask profound questions. For example, a 5-year-old may say, what will happen after I die? I remember a 9-year-old child once saying, why are they crying? It's just the body that is going, not the soul. A 9-year-old has the understanding of a soul. So these are profound, unusual questions. The highly abled children and individuals may also have, they're very likely to have a sophisticated sense of humor. They will make people around them laugh. They are always speaking on a lighter note, and they will themselves not laugh aloud. That's also a sign. By now, I'm sure you are trying to probe into yourself, your personality, and trying to associate how many of these traits are there in you and whether you really are gifted or no. So, next one, uh, these are the requisite to a greater degree. I think there's a word missing there. So, okay, so they have requisites which are greater than their age mates. We'll see a video also, some more points, and then I'll show you a video just to give you a break. So, gifted children also are likely to have extensive vocabulary. You'll be surprised that they know so many words. They have a lot of knowledge about current affairs and what is going on. Here I can give you an example. So I know of a 2-year-old child who is not even speaking all the words, but when the mother asks him to show a certain animal, child opens to that page and actually points out to the animal. I know of another child who knows all the planets by heart and who is still in the pre-prime. There's another child who knows tables from 1 to 45. So these are children, these are signs that will show that they have the spark in them. They have something different in them. Besides this, they have long attention span, if the subject is interesting, of course, heightened curiosity and inquisitiveness. Now, these are those children, you get a toy, get a car for them, get something, and they will open it up. And then you actually try to scold the child or correct the child, but this is because of their curiosity and their inquisitiveness. And they demonstrate advanced verbal or spatial capacities at an early age and prefer to play with older friends. Give me a minute. I will try to play a short
Ma'am, the audio is not there in the video. Is the video having some audio?
Ma'am, only video is there, ma'am. No, audio is not working.
Till the time ma'am is working on the audio, I would like to request all the participants to write in the chat box that just think of the gifted students that you have currently in your class and some of the qualities or how to identify, which we have just seen in last two slides. Which special qualities you have observed in your classroom?
अब ये पता बता सकते हैं आप?
आपकी शादी हुई है?
हाँ हुई है।
आपकी बीवी कैसी है?
अच्छी है, इसलिए तो शादी की है।
घर में बच्चे हैं?
नहीं है।
घर में टीवी है?
हाँ है।
चलता है? CCTV है? स्टार कनेक्शन है?
हाँ है।
केबल है? कितना पिक्चर दिखाते हैं?
2 पिक्चर बताते हैं।
3 क्यों नहीं दिखाते?
अरे 3 नहीं बताते हैं।
ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट की कलर है?
ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट है।
तो कलर क्यों नहीं लिया?
अरे मेरी मर्जी की बात है। कौन है?
आपकी मर्जी से मतलब?
अरे ये कौन है भाई आप?
तुम कौन हो?
मैं भूल गया हूँ।
घर में बिल्ली है?
नहीं है।
कुत्ता है?
है।
चारपाई पे खटमल है?
नहीं है।
दीवार पे चिपकली है?
है।
नारे की मादा है?
ठीक से देखा नहीं।
So, well, it was a funny video, but the idea was that there are children who ask questions continuously and they should not be ignored. So let's go on to a more strategic way of finding indicators of giftedness in students. Yes. So the first domain, cognitive indicators. So these are children who are actually rapid learners. If you see in the class, there are certain students who are very quick in grasping ideas or concepts. They enjoy complex problems. This abstract thinking and complexity is something that is very essential factor. It is the quintessential factor according to Linda Silverman, which has to exist in cognitively gifted students. Another trait is another indicator, advanced vocabulary. Like I told you, they have explicit vocabulary and they know a lot of words and phrases. They have very high problem solving abilities and they are very innovative. Apart from this, they have exceptional memory and recall abilities. Creative indicators. Children who are creatively gifted have very high imagination and originality. Like, for example, there is another video, but I will not waste time in playing the videos. I'm sure you are aware of this, where a teacher asks the children to draw a flower. And then he says that the flower has to be of this color and this type and this size. And that is where the originality and the imagination and creativity of the children is marred. On the contrary, again, a real example, we had a student of class 5 who was asked to draw a flower, and he drew a flower which no one had ever seen. And when we asked him, where did you see this? He said, I saw it in the encyclopedia. So this sort of liberty should be given to students so that they become more creative. Inventive thinking, that is to generate novel solutions. Now we are also talking about the highest level of Bloom's taxonomy. These are the children who have curiosity and they love to explore. So they love hands-on experiences. They love experiential learning and they like to actually handle things and be in the library or laboratory. Then the artistic talent, the children who have exceptional skill in art, music, and drama. What about the socio-emotional indicators? These are children who have leadership qualities. They empathize with others. They like to take the lead role. They will volunteer for different activities. They are very good in communication and have a good rapport with people around. They can also have compassion for everybody around and they are resilient and adaptable. So they can cope with challenges and changes. Now, behavioral indicators. These are children who love perfectionism. And sometimes you have this kind of people at home. So, for example, As soon as you go home, somebody at home says, see that you put your footwear in the rack. See that you put the bag in the cupboard. See that you fold your clothes properly. See that you keep all the things in the right place. So what happens? This is just one example of perfectionism. So much so that it becomes boring. It becomes a burden. But again, Linda Silverman says perfectionism can be best thought of as an energy that needs to be channeled in a positive direction rather than as a malady that needs to be cured. So it's not a disease, it's not a sickness, it's not a problem, but it can be very positive and useful to reach the peak of success. Risk taking is another special character of highly able students, and they prefer being independent and to do their work themselves. They like to take new roles and responsibilities. Now, I'm going to have a sort of small quiz for you. We will take a look at some of the prominent gifted individuals from India. I will show you a picture and you have to identify who the person is. You also have to identify which type of giftedness is seen in this person or was seen in this personality. All right, so let's begin. Yes. Type this in your chat box. Who is this? Do you know him? He is India's one of the most gifted, talented individual, a genius. Who is this? Type it in the chat box. Let's see. Oh, yes, I'm getting answers. Abha ma'am, I think that is Abha ma'am. Congratulations. Great. Yes, that is Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, who is a physicist, an astronomer. And which type of intelligence does he have? What do you think? Which type of intelligence? Cognitively gifted. All right, so let's go to the next one. Yes, how many of you can identify? Come, chat box. Let's see the chat box. Come on, participate. Yes, who is this? Susan ma'am, Kanchan ma'am, Abira ma'am, Srividya ma'am. Oh, congratulations, great. This is, of course, the mathematical genius, the prodigy of India, on whose name we celebrate the National Mathematics Day, Srinivasa Ramanujan, cognitively gifted. Let's move ahead. Yes, come on. Now it's a different field. There. Abha ma'am is very fast. And who's this? Savita ma'am, Supriya ma'am, Pallavi Sharma ma'am. Oh, I see. So I think very popular MF Hussain. Creatively gifted. Let's move on to the next picture. Come on. Oh, I'm glad you all are participating so well. So this also shows that gifted individuals reach, if they reach the peak, they are among the successful people of the world. They are renowned personalities. They are popular personalities. Yes. Again, I've got a lot of correct answers. Congratulations. Yes, Mital Shah ma'am, Abira Mishra, Savita ma'am. Yes. So this is indeed Satyajit Ray, the famous film director, actor, creatively gifted. Yes. Now, no marks for this one. But yes, he was cognitively gifted, no doubt about that. He was also socio-emotionally gifted. How about this one? So politicians also, some of our politicians are also or were also gifted. Great. Atal Bihari Ji Vajpayee, socio-emotionally. Thank you so much for the participation. We move ahead. I hope that's given you a break. So we don't want to be gender bias. Now we have a female. Who's this? Great. Let me check the names. Chitra ma'am, Neha ma'am, Abha ma'am. Yes, who is this? Kavita, Ashwini. So 100 on 100. I think we are having all gifted attendees today. Well read. Mary Com, who is kinesthetically gifted. Kindly note now, we are going to the modern definition. We are not talking, not sticking to the narrow definition of 3 domains. Now we've moved ahead to the Howard Gardner thing. And who's that? Yes. Now we come to the next segment. We've been talking about giftedness. Who are gifted individuals? They are highly abled individuals. They are those who can perform well, those who have higher ability, higher competencies or skills as compared to their counterparts, right? And we talked about NEP, we talked about NCF, we talked about NCFF, SC. Are there any myths about giftedness? Yes, there are many. So let's bust the myths. People often say that giftedness is solely determined by the IQ scores, but the fact is it encompasses a broader range of abilities which include creativity, motivation, and achievement. There is also a myth which goes gifted students are naturally more motivated and disciplined. Well, some of them are motivated, but most of them need guidance from well trained teachers. Gifted students don't need extra support or accommodations. On the contrary, they often require specialized instruction. Otherwise, they will lose interest and it will be wasted opportunities. They also need acceleration. Now, this is a very, very important word. What is acceleration? We'll see that shortly. And enrichment to meet their unique needs to prevent boredom, frustration, and disengagement. Next myth, giftedness is limited to academic subjects like math and reading. No, we've already seen this. Gifted students are socially isolated or awkward. Some of them, yes, but not all. Gifted programs are elitist and unfair to other students. That means gifted students feel that they are elite and they belong to a superior class. But that's not the fact always again. Coming to the next one. Giftedness is fixed and unchangeable. Giftedness can be developed and nurtured. Giftedness can be developed. Intelligence cannot be developed. Intelligence will not change, is what most psychologists and scientists believe. So, but giftedness, which is close to talent, can be developed and nurtured through opportunities and encouragement. Gifted students are more competitive and cutthroat. Some students, yes, but many are collaborative, supportive, and motivated. So this one I think is repeated. We'll not get into that. The next one, gifted education is a luxury and not essential. This is an absolutely incorrect statement. Gifted education is essential for meeting the unique needs of gifted students. They need differentiated instruction. They need IEPs, individual education plans. They need adaptive assessments. And for what? To ensure that they reach their full potential and contribute to the betterment of the society. So now we come to another question. By now, there should be a debate. Is being gifted the same as being talented? If you think it is the same, write yes or Y. If you think it's not the same, write N in the chat box. Is it the same? So I'm receiving answers. Kanchan ma'am says no. Abha ma'am says very fine line. Asha ma'am says no. Yes, so most of you are saying no and you are right. The term gifted and talented are often used interchangeably. However, they have distinct meanings in the context of education and child development. So let's see. How are they distinguished? Gifted actually refers to individuals who possess a natural ability or aptitude that is significantly above average in one or more areas. The key word here is natural ability. Natural. So this is nature. On the other hand, talented refers to individuals who have systematically developed. So this is more about practice. This is more about rehearsal. This is more about being organized, systematic, regular, consistent. So these are abilities that have developed through dedication, hard work, and instructions. And talent can be demonstrated in various areas as well. Now, giftedness is often seen as an innate ability, but nurture is developed through effort and instructions. The scope, Typically, giftedness encompasses a broader range of abilities, including intellectual and creative capacities, whereas talented is often specific to a particular domain or ability. Gifted individuals may require special educational program to meet their unique needs, and talented individuals benefit from targeted training and coaching. Let's take a look at these cartoons. So these are slides I have actually spaced in between, interspaced, just to give you a break. And I'm sure you'll like this. Now, what are the recommendations? Now we know so much about giftedness. Let's see the recommendations. So these are slides that I will not get deep into. They are more theoretical. Giftedness is something where a lot of funding is required. Specialized training, special teachers. Even if I give you the example of the uh, classes that go on for IIT or JEE, we know that the resources are highly paid resources. Why is that? Because that is for a higher level of learning. That is for someone who has more proficiency, someone who has better performance. So it's about funding. These are again, not to forget that SCOF also very strongly recommends and mentions giftedness. Now the second sentence is what we need to see. Accelerated learning. I told you this is very important. What is the meaning of accelerated? In India, there are rules and norms. There are ways and means where a child can be allowed to do grade skipping, can go to the next class if the child has that kind of high ability. Early entry, that means before given age, the cutoff age, a child can take admission. Subject acceleration, this is in a particular subject. If a child is good, then advanced syllabus for that particular subject, and early entry to college or advanced courses. And one example is the Khelo India battery test. So if a child is doing very well in the Khelo India battery test, then there is a scheme where the government and SAI, that is Sports Authority of India, will adapt this child and even spend money for him, spend money on his food and his coaching. Now, these are some statistics. The first sentence, very important. Identification during adolescence and guidance through secondary helps students to pursue doctoral degrees at more than 50 times. Mind you, if the identification happens early, then the children can reach higher degrees and higher performance. And there's a study that shows that school-wide enrichment model, that means the SEM model, works very well for gifted students. Research shows that 40% of gifted students may be underachievers and dropouts if they are not given the proper training and proper challenges are not thrown at them. This one this is self-study. You can read it for yourself. Salam sir, how much time do I have?
You can take as much time as required, ma'am. No problem.
Another 15 to 20 minutes max.
No problem. No problem.
Yes, thank you, sir. So let's see giftedness in the Indian context. We all know that India is the most populated country of the world, one of the youngest also, where 65% of the population is below 35 years. And if you check the economical survey of 23-24, I'm talking about students now. This is very crucial information for us. 26.52 crore students are in the school, 4.33 crore are in higher education, and 11 crore in skill institutions. And if we teachers do not pay attention to the gifted students, if we are ignorant about giftedness, then there will be a voluminous impact, and this can lead to a cultural, social, national, and international loss. So I'm glad all those of you who are attending today, you will have a fair idea of what giftedness is. You can take screenshots of this, and I'm sure sir is going to also make this available on YouTube. So I'm not getting deep into this. I want to stop at this slide. This is how the evolution of giftedness in India happened. So the first talent search happened at Calcutta in Bengal in 1958, and the institute is called as Jagdish Bose National Science Talent Search. And like this, after that, 1969, 1979, we are very fortunate, those who are in Pune, there is a special school for gifted students in Pune, and it is called as the Jnana Prabodhini School, which is in Sadashivpet in Pune city, and there is another branch in Pimpri Chinchwad. They also run a course called as NGIFT, that is Nurturing Giftedness. This is a 1-year diploma available for those of you who are interested. And the other one in Pune is the Kaveri Group of Institutes, where a lot of study is going on. What if we neglect giftedness? So, like I told you, it will lead to gifted individuals who will become disengaged and demotivated. If we do not use their talents, if we do not use their skills positively, if we fail in channelizing their competencies, they are going to use them elsewhere, and which is not affordable for anybody. So what do we need? Teacher training, right? So we need a lot of teacher training that has to percolate from the national to the state, to the district, to the taluka level. And this is what the teachers should know. So far, we've been talking about so many psychologists, so many educationists, scientists, who are all from foreign lands. But my session today will be incomplete if I do not mention the name of late Professor Ushatai Kire, who is another gifted lady from Pune, who passed away very recently. She also belonged to JPIP, one of the most intelligent ladies who has to her credit a number of books based on giftedness and gifted children. And I would urge you and request you to take a look at her life journey and know more about giftedness. Now, we will not get deep into this because this is theoretical, but these are some of the most famous and popular theories and models based on giftedness. One is the Sternberg's triatric theory. That means 3 components are there. That is why it is triatric: analytical, creative, and practical intelligence. These slides, I have especially prepared these for those of you who are interested in knowing more and learning more, or performing research, or doing a PhD. Joseph Renzulli, again, a very popular educationist and psychologist, 3-ring conception. Francois Gane, differentiated model of giftedness. He talks about emotional giftedness also. Kazimierz Dabrowski, very, very popular theory, very interesting theory. And I request you that at least once take a look at Dabrowski's work, and you will be able to associate yourself with his theory. The disintegration and the integration that he talks about is very close to everybody's heart, and all of us have gone through it at one point or the other. Now, these are some of the popular and influential books. You can take screenshots if you want to have these in your library or your personal collection. There are books for parents, there are books for teachers, there are books for counselors. It's not only the books. You'll get to know much more about gifted students and their attributes and their behavior and their reaction and their progress through movies. And which are the movies? Again, you can take a screenshot. So I've already watched most of these, especially to probe and peep into the lives of gifted children. Now we come to the final stage. As teachers, what could be the activities that we will implement and incorporate in our school, in our teaching? So enrichment programs, and I've already given you examples. Tiered assignments. That means it is not necessary that you give a worksheet or an assignment or a quiz which is same for the entire class. Once you know that there are children who have more thirst, who have more curiosity, who are more inquisitive, who are waiting for challenges, you must have different levels, difficulty levels of assignments. That is called as tiered assignments. Curriculum compacting technique, I think others are self-explanatory, but curriculum compacting is something that you may not know, some of you. That is very much like the core essentials. For example, if in a particular subject, in a particular year, you have 12 chapters, and you think that Teaching 4 or 5 chapters is enough for the child to develop the basics and the fundamentals, to have clear concepts, and you want to accelerate that child, it is possible. This is called as curriculum compact, but it needs a lot of planning. Some more activities to challenge them, to keep them occupied, and to nurture highly able students. Coming to assessment strategies. So first thing was identifying. Once you identify the students, their needs, then you plan the syllabus. After the syllabus is planned, you plan for the implementation of syllabus, that is the pedagogy. And the last part is the assessment and reflection. So these are slides that have come from CBSE. So far, whatever you saw were slides actually created by me. I gathered the content from different sources, but these are slides that have come from CBSE. These are examples of artificial intelligence which can be used for teaching, learning, and evaluation as well. You can take screenshots of this. If you have done the CBSE training on AI, artificial intelligence, these are slides from that module. Now we move to the concluding part, educational implication. So like we have seen, differentiated instruction is required. Every child is unique. Every child is different. The pace of learning of every child is different. The background that the child comes from is different. The genetics that the child has is different. And therefore, a teacher has to be ready with a mixed bag and eclectic methods. And she has to use varied strategies to cater to the need of every child. So gifted learners are a reality in India. Inclusion of this divergent population in NEP 2020 shall have very positive, far-reaching consequences. There is an urgent need for effective state policies for the social and emotional support of the academically gifted and teacher training in giftedness to ensure teachers are equipped to support the unique needs of giftedness. This is the conclusion that I have drawn from whatever study I have studied and presented today. And my last slide is to say a big thank you to Dr. Salam. I always say salute to Dr. Salam because he's the one who's created the platform and he's given opportunities to so many educators to teach and to learn. I must once again thank Biju sir, the entire audience, and my special thanks to Shalini ma'am. So if any of you think that you want to take up this topic for presentation somewhere, you can also add these. I've given you some suggestions here. This one. Scope for addition to this presentation and further studies. This is what you can incorporate next time. I'm seeing a question in the chat box. Can special needs be a gifted child? Is there any questionnaire or checklist to identify? Yes, ma'am. So like I said, there are different methods to identify. One is that first you note down through observation the indicators. When repeated observations happen, the first method could be the nomination forms. And when consistently the nomination form shows some high ability, some different kind of potential, then you can further ask the child to go through the structured test. And yes, they are differently able. They are called as special children because they are different, because their thoughts are different, because their needs are different, because they need higher challenges.
Ma'am, I'll take the questions further.
Yes.
Can gifted children be called as hyperactive children as well?
So that's a very good question. I really like this. So, ma'am, there is something else. I don't know whether I have mentioned it here. Twice exceptional. There is a concept called as twice exceptional. So, if there is, in case there is a child who has some high ability, who is a highly able child, but who also simultaneously has some kind of other problem, for example, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, dyslexia, these are called as twice exceptional. But I must also caution you that because these children sometimes, what like Toto Chan, if you are not able to satisfy their needs in the class, this child is extra intelligent, but you are following the pace that is required for an average group of children. Because in India, we believe in the in heterogeneous grouping. We do not have homogeneous classes, right? So you have a mixed group of children and you cater to the middle level. But these children get bored, and because they are bored, what they do is they disturb others. The teacher is under the impression that this child is hyperactive, which is not the truth very often. These could be the children who throw tantrums. These could be the children who do not concentrate in the class. These could be the children who ask a lot of questions. These are the children who might write something on the desk, who might even end up bunking classes because their needs are not satisfied.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. What is the challenge for teachers to develop such kind of students?
So it is basically awareness. It of course involves patience. It needs orientation. It needs reading children. The more you understand them, the better they will feel and the better they will perform.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. What are the institutions or organization a school can collaborate with for these type of gifted and talented students?
So I'm very sorry, but I have no idea about other cities. Um, these are the ones that I have mentioned. Just go back to that slide. Delhi University is doing a lot of research work. They also organize international trainings and conferences. And in Pune, we have, is the slide visible? So if you take a
Yes,
screenshot
ma'am.
of this, yes. So there's this one in Kolkata. There is this one in Pune. There's the Delhi University that does it. There's one in Bangalore also. I don't know whether I've mentioned it here, but Bangalore has a very good institute. And you can be a member of the Mensa nurturing program, but it takes time. You have to undergo certain tests, and there is some payment also for it.
Okay.
These are the prominent ones.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much. How do you understand the special children demand?
So, like I told you, their behavior and the traits and the indicators which you notice in the class will help you to identify that they have some different need. So, it's a part of your teacher observation, your anecdotal records. These will help you. And if the same observation is seen by different teachers, by parents, parents are equal stakeholders, are even bigger stakeholders, not to forget this. If like all of you know, we are already into this stage where holistic progress card has been developed and we are beginning with it for the foundational stage at least, which is going to continue. So after all, what is this holistic progress card? It's a 360-degree card. It's going to have everything. It's going to encompass everything. What is this everything? That means the child is going to be assessed on different fronts and different domains, different realms. This is one, 360 degrees. So cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domain, and all the other traits, in fact. Two, who will assess? Everybody will assess. So the child's self-assessment can be there, the teacher assessment will be there, the peer assessment will be there, and you never know if parents are also involved in this. A librarian can assess, a laboratory assistant can assess. So that is the second thing. Okay. How you are assessing the child, who is assessing the child, and on what you are assessing the child. 360 degrees.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much. What strategies do you use to differentiate the curriculum for gifted students? And how do you ensure that they are challenged through that curriculum?
So I can give you the example of something like Khan Academy. So I'll tell you, Khan Academy is one platform, or even when you play chess, for example, online chess. So these are platforms where adaptive methods are used. What is adaptive method? Adaptive method means, suppose I'm a student of grade 2 and I am solving 10 problems with 2 digits multiplied by 2 digits, and I get all 10 correct. Immediately, the level will go to the next one, that is 3 digit multiplied by 2 digit, or 5 digit multiplied by 2 digit with carryover. So these are called adaptive assessments, that is as per the potential I have, as per the knowledge I have. So these are called adaptive. This is one way so that they are challenged and they do higher studies. Second is competitive examinations, Olympiads. These are also methods. Scholarship examinations, government scholarship examinations, participation in the Inspire program, where they can actually flourish. So these are all activities. If you go back to the slides, you will get many more ideas.
Ma'am, just an extension to the previous question. How do you incorporate higher order thinking skills such as critical thinking and problem solving into your lessons?
That is exactly what I said. So, in the pedagogy itself, are you giving them ample opportunities to have hands on learning? Are you giving them project based learning? Are you allowing them to visit a place? Did you create opportunities for internship? Did you allow them to use certain extra books and give them supplementary information? Have you used newspaper in education? Did you take the children to the library to know more about it? Have you shown them a movie that creates interest for them? So these are the different means where their learning and their performance will escalate and their curiosity also will be satisfied.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Though in the last slides, you have already told us about the use of technology. Still, there is a question. What role does technology play in providing challenging and engaging learning experiences for gifted students?
Very big role. So life will be impossible without technology, whether we like it or no, because it has its own pros, and that's what we need to look at. Even the holistic progress card is not going to be possible humanly. It is going to very soon be digitalized, because it's
That's great.
about time also, it's about speed also, it's about effort also, and it's about being specific.
Very true, ma'am. Very true. I second with you on this. Ma'am, one last question is there in the chat box that is like CARS or ESA. What is the test name checklist for gifted child?
Ars or ESA? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Like CARS or ESA, what is the test name checklist for gifted students?
I'm not sure about this one. I didn't get this. Test name. You want the name tests that are there?
I think so. The
So that's the
test name
Wechsler.
of the
That's the Wechsler test. That is one that I showed you right in the beginning. The most popularly used tests are the Wechsler test. But if I have to tell you, institutes like Nyan Prabodhini have their own tests. You can check this slide. These are the tests which are very widely used all over the world. These are all structured and standardized tests. The Stanford Binet test and WAIS and WISE. There are others
Thank
as
you,
well,
ma'am.
but these are the most prominently used.
Ms. Thamarai Selvi would like to elaborate on CARS and ESA so that we'll get some idea about it. Ms. Thamarai Selvi, you can raise your hand, we can unmute you. She's not there. Okay, Charlie, may proceed.
That's all, ma'am. No more questions. So thank you, ma'am. Your words of wisdom have added to the intellectual pursuits of our esteemed participants. I would like to extend our gratefulness and appreciation for Dr. Madhula Mahajan for enlightening us with boundless discourse. I'm very sure we will apply these tenets in our teaching methodology and ensure our young learners get maximum benefit out of it. Dear participants, kindly note that the link for the certificate and feedback form has already been posted. You're requested to fill up the form with all necessary details. I, Ms. Shalini Narula, along with Extra Mile Education and Training, would like to thank Dr. Abdul Salam for his boundless support and guidance. Thank you, sir, for such a great opportunity. And most importantly, I thank you a million times to all the participants for their enthusiasm. I sincerely hope we have earned the privilege of your time. Over to you, Salam, sir.
Yeah, Thamarai ma'am has come up. Yeah, Thamarai
Yes,
ma'am, you
sir.
can speak.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See, this is the main thing I have faced. I am in from Qatar. So we have a ministry's ministry checkup last month. The same thing I want to ask to ma'am also. It was very clear. Ma'am, CARS ISA is the test we used to do for autistic children. How to find the autism? We use these tests, CARS and ISA. Same like that. Do we have, as you said, you have Wechsler test. So in the Wechsler test, 120 above is considered as a gifted one. I want to clear on that part, ma'am. Did you get it, ma'am?
Yes. So let me tell you that commoners will not be allowed to conduct this test. You have to be an expert. This is the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, these are the two widely accepted definitions. One is the top 10%, and second is 120, not 120, 130.
30.
Score of 130. Yes. But in Pune also, for example, KEM hospital is the hospital where this kind of tests are done. So only
Done.
trained doctors or counselors are allowed to do this test.
Yes, ma'am. I have a license of I have the test materials, but for the gifted children, I don't have the test materials. So that's
ma'am,
what
I will
asked.
recommend that you can contact JPIP. So that is the
Done.
authentic
Okay.
organization. Yes, and they will guide you.
Yes. Okay, done. So that's the thing, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Thamre ma'am. Over to you, Salam sir.
Thank you, Mrutula ma'am, for this, what do you call, a lot of valuable information we have, gathered from your deliverance. Very well researched and very well presented as usual, crisp and clear, and lot of effort has gone into, which definitely, might have helped the educators to look at this particular area of this gifted and talented children, which has not been given due importance in our daily teaching experience. So a lot of things have to be considered, as Mridula ma'am has briefed. A lot of things have to be considered while dealing with children, especially the gifted ones. So Mridula ma'am, thank you so much for this wonderful session. As usual, you have given us a lot of valuable information. So we look forward to learning more and more from you. May God bless you, ma'am, for this time and valuable time that you have spent with us. I'm equally glad that your Shalini ma'am also is with us from the same school, and also Miss Abha Singh, who has worked in Akshara, is also here. Yeah,
Salam sir, you are picking up the gems.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you so much. So, heartfelt gratitude to Akshara International School management for allowing, because sometimes, some management does not allow, teachers or, educators to uh, give their service to outside their, realm or institution. So
We
that's
have a
a
very
wonderful
liberal
thing.
management, and all my appreciation to them. That's why in my last slide, I have even written their credits and gratitude.
Yeah, very well. So please convey our gratitude
I
to them as
second
well.
with Mridula ma'am. I also second with Mridula ma'am on this lines.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Special thanks to Kanchan, Miss Kanchan, who has, who was waiting for us for long, who was the first one to join us.
So she's
And
one of our senior most and excellent teachers, mathematics teacher.
she's also from Akshara, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so special thanks to her and all the, fraternity teaching fraternity and all the heads and educators. We are in fact, we are blessed with this presentation. So hope we will make use of this, information, valuable information given by Rutula ma'am, so that we can, do justice to the gifted and talented children. Otherwise, they become, very frustrated and they lose all their, creativity and all. So please take care of this area, which is very, essential, very important, very significant. So thank you so much, Mudula ma'am, once again, and Shalini ma'am for the wonderful help you have done, and all the educators for joining us. Though you are busy, second Saturday, you have to be, taking care of family, this thing, that thing, but so many have joined us. So thank you so much for your valuable time. Keep connected. I hope Mridula ma'am will come up with another wonderful topic to enlighten us as time permits. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night, ma'am.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
So when you open the browser, you have to just log in with b-tag.in. So those teachers who have joined and are listening, please note, this is our website, b-tag.in. You click and this page will appear, wherein you will be asked to sign in or sign up. If you have already, this is first time, so you have to do the sign up. Okay, so this is the sign up page. This is just like any website or any, where you register and do the transaction down, the same thing. First, you have to make a sign up by giving your name. Please remember to give your name in full. The same name will be appearing in the certificate. So let us be very careful about the name spelling and all. Later it will be very difficult to change. It's not possible to change. We have to purchase once again. So name, full name. Then you can select whichever country you are. So mostly Gulf countries and all, they can select accordingly. The select option is available. All the countries select options are available. So accordingly you can select the country code. So and enter your WhatsApp number. Okay. Enter your WhatsApp number because the certificates and OTP, everything will be coming to your WhatsApp number. So after entering the WhatsApp number, give a valid email address. You have to give a valid email address and which you have to remember the email address. Then create a password. When you create a password, you have to remember these things. Minimum 8 characters should be there. Lowercase letters, at least one uppercase letter and one number. Then sign up. Once you have signed up, you click the sign up. An OTP will come to your mobile, that is to your WhatsApp, and the same OTP you have to enter, and you are signed up. And now once you are signed up, you have to sign in. Sign in with the email ID and the password you have created. So sign with the email ID and the password created. I will show you. So I am signing in. So when I sign in, I can see all the sessions conducted last year, that means till December. You can view all the sessions. A page consists of 20 sessions. And you have to go to the next page. You can click the double arrow. It will take you to the next page. And today's session we will enter once the session is about to be over. So we have conducted 65 sessions last year. All the 65 sessions are there, and it's video. Their videos are available on YouTube. You can watch and you can avail certificate. And today's session we will be adding as 66. So once you select the session, any session, if you want to avail certificate, request certificate, you have to click request certificate, and here you have to give feedback, attended live or you watched on YouTube, your feedback about the session. Then amount is 150, and you accept the terms and conditions. Now you have to pay, just like what you do for ticket aeroplane ticket purchase and all, flight ticket purchase and all you can do. It will be taking you to the payment gateway. So there are many options. You can do either UPI, or you can use your card, or you can use net banking. If you have any wallet, you can add wallet also here. Mostly you will be using UPI, I suppose. So you can scan this QR code for UPI. So that's all. Once payment is made, the certificate will immediately come to your WhatsApp. You can open in PDF form, it will be coming, and also on the page your certificate will be there, which you can view and download. My certificate page is there. If you have purchased any certificate, this page will be having your certificate session name and all, and here there will be a button view certificate. Once you click, it will take you to another tab, and there you can download the certificate. So the certificate also will already come to your this thing WhatsApp, and also you can download the certificate. So that's all. Thank you so much. We will be sharing the link as usual. There we will have all the steps how to do it and all. Please take care. All the very best.